Hi everyone, it's been a while since I've made a video and today I'm going to talk about taking your theory test for the very first time. So I've gone through life not feeling the need to drive, avoiding it, not taking lessons, just being a passenger and observing and just literally happy to be a pedestrian or a commuter on public transport. But here I am, nearly 20 years later, and I decided I'm going to book my theory test in, well, a few weeks. So it was around the end of September and I booked my driving UK theory test in December. It was like the goal was, let's do it by the end of the year. So I chose the very last date that was possible. So it was like 29th of December or something. And that meant that app that's been sitting on my phone, the driving test theory app, I probably put a few pictures here and there, that is gonna have to be used now. So with the app, you read through the module or whatever it's called, the section, and then you do a test straight away. And then you just have to read all the sections and do the same thing. And personally, I don't really like reading. I prefer to just try the test out, but for all those years that I have, you know, given it a try with the mock theory, yeah, I failed. So it was important to actually read the material and then test straight after. And then I was so happy once I had completed all of those little sections. I think the hardest was the vehicle handbook and that kind of section. Like, I liked the visual and that kind of thing. So that was the theory learning part, and then the little test. Then it was obviously, let's do the mock test of everything, of all the topics, and let's see how we go. As mentioned, I wasn't too fond of reading the material, so what I also enjoyed was the hazard perception test. At first I was failing it, I was, you know, probably pressing the flag or whatever you call it too many times or in the wrong time. So for example, in this app, it helped me through the kind of preview or tutorial. It helps you to foresee the risk, or what do you call it, the hazard appearing, coming, so a few seconds early. And I used to think, I'm never going to be able to see or predict that is going to be a hazard. But then you keep practicing and then you do actually see it. Like, you see like a little bike coming, you see a van coming really quickly on a side road, you see a pedestrian coming like nowhere on your kind of view, but then you know, okay, this is going to be a hazard. So everything is to do with practice. How long did I have? October, November, about 3 months. Take your time, don't stress out. It's also a mind space thing, and you don't want to over cram like a week before. I'm sure many people have done that. I know people who have done that and, you know, have not passed, unfortunately, and some have. And we don't want to leave it to chance. We do want to learn the rules, don't we? Even though as a driver you may forget them. And so then with the hazard, you would just naturally get better at it by practicing it. And then once you've done it enough times and you see that you're passing more than failing, try the theory test and the hazard and kind of just see how you get on with those tests. Actually, you can find the areas that you're not so knowledgeable about, you're not getting the answers right. Why not have another read through, because you don't want to have these small mistakes in the areas that you probably could have just spent another hour of your lifetime reading. Lifetime meaning however long you've got until your test. So go for it. This is probably the only time you're really going to study the rules like of the whole theory test. So give it your best shot, have a positive mindset, try not to cram it in, use apps if you're a very if you're always on your phone. It's, you know, it's easy, it's quick, it's just tap tap tap, read, tap the answer. It gives you information on why that's the right answer, and that's helpful because it helps you understand it, because I think a lot of people, they don't understand the question. But yeah, so just look at the answers, don't just, you know, just for the sake of it. I think try. So these were all my tips of how to prepare yourself while studying for the test. I think they're pretty basic. Then comes the day of the theory test. you need to bring your provisional driving license. You can't wear a cap, you can't wear like certain jewelry, you take your watch off, you do have to turn your phone off and lock your valuables away, but you should turn your phone off and hold on to it until they see you at the desk. This might just be like going over your head, but you can come back to this video for a refresher. Yeah, so jewelry comes off, hats, blah blah blah, anything that they think you'd be able to hide answers, basically. Yeah, because I remember having to take my earrings off. I was like, huh? Anyways, and then they want to see that you've turned your phone off, so make sure they've seen it, and then you can go lock it away in the lockers provided, and then you wait your turn, you go in. I had to wear a mask because that was the time. You're quite close to people, like someone was about just there and she was reading the questions, like she was whispering it, and I was like, oh no, this is gonna be a distraction. So you really need to like be prepared that that could be a thing. People could be, I don't know, people could be coughing and all sorts of noises basically, and reading their questions. There are headphones, I believe, that's if you need help for the audio, that kind of thing. They have these options as well, so don't worry, just let them know. I wouldn't say rush it, even if you're like, yeah, definitely, I'm sure. It costs money to do these tests, so you want to give it your all, and you want to make sure that you have really tried. And even if it seems like, yeah, it's obviously option A, have a good minute, because you've got what, 15 minutes to do that test, and then the hazard as well, you get a good amount. Well, I think that goes quicker actually, but just whatever time is allocated to you, I'd say use it and just try and remember what you've studied. And that's why the preparation is really important, because it's crunch time. And then once you're definitely sure you've checked over your questions, you can flag ones and go back to it, which is a good thing, which is also in the app. You can do that, so you've got practice doing that. Yeah, you just tap submit, that you're done, and then you wait at the seat, and you don't know if you've passed or not, and you wait for your name to be called out again, because they get the notification, and then you either get probably a sorry you failed, or what I got, a congratulations, all the best with your driving. And I was like, wow, I passed. I was really happy, I must say, because so many people I know had not passed the first time, and I was very happy. Obviously prayed and studied, and I advise you to do that too. Yeah, and then took my belongings home and just celebrated by myself, like, woo, I passed. And then what comes next is you have 2 years to pass your practical driving test. No pressure, and that I will cover in another video. So I wish you all the very best in studying for your theory test, and don't forget the tips that I have shared. See ya!